Welcome back, folks. Tell you what, South Sioux City has had a great run of girls wrestlers over the years, and after this last week at the NSA State Wrestling Tournament, the tradition has only continued as Madeline Bohnet reached the top of the podium. SportsFource's Irvin Doman has more on Bohnet.
16 of the best 105-pound girls wrestlers in the state of Nebraska competed at the NSAA State Wrestling Championships last week. That includes top-seeded Madeline Bohnet out of South Sioux City. While she competed for gold for the second straight year, her impact on the Lady Cardinals wrestling program runs much deeper.
Yeah, I think Madeline has a bigger part than even she realizes, because I think without her, I don't know if we are at where we're at just because I was her dad, right? And when the girls started coming up, I saw an opportunity for her.
After falling in her championship match last year, Bohnet woke up every day in the offseason with one goal in mind: use that loss to fuel her successful season on the mat this year.
And it's a lot of hard work. You got to use your losses as motivation. I lost last year, and that really pushed me to where I am today. I really use it as motivation every day. When I didn't want to get up in the morning and go to lifting, I really had to think about what my goal was and how I was going to be able to achieve that.
All of Bohnet's hard work did not go unnoticed by her coach and father, Evan Bohnet, as he talks about her upholding the standard of Cardinals excellence.
Madeline works hard. She's every day at practice, every day in the off season, every day in the classroom. She works hard. That's a kid that does all the right things. She eats right. She goes to bed on time. That's a kid that deserves the win.
And after 6 minutes ticked off the clock, Bohnet would become a state champion with a 9-6 decision victory. She would embrace her father, knowing that every ounce of hard work this year was worth it.
It was great. I got to hug my dad at the end, and he's my coach. He's been with me since day one, and it felt great to have him by my side. I said it before, and I say it again, he really is the best coach ever. It means a lot. I know he went through similar things when he was in high school. He got second at state too, and it's really, we're able to connect on a different level than just father-daughter, also as wrestler to wrestler.
Bohnet now has 2 more seasons to fight her way back to the mountaintop to experience that feeling again. Irvin Doman, KTIV SportsFource.